Hi, good evening. Welcome to SBL's Practice to Pass session for December 2020, day number 5. This is Hassan Dosani, and how are you guys doing today? If you can hear me, can you please type yes? Very good, very good. Good to see you. Very nice. So as usual, let's wait for 60 more seconds for our friends to join in, and then we will kick off. Yes, Edmund, I can see your comment very clearly. Yes, Edmund, I will try to address your challenges. And in case I'm not able to address it for any reason, you can always write your questions on the WhatsApp group, and myself or some other colleague will be more than happy to help you. Thank you, George. That's very kind of you. Whitney, can you ask this question towards the end so that everybody can benefit from it? Okay, don't forget. Amna, I will cover this in the last, towards the end of the webinar, okay? And Amna, in case I forget, do ask this question towards the last Q&A session in the end. I'm just waiting because, it's a very important session today. It's being the last session. We will be talking about some important things. So I just want maximum people to join in and don't, miss the start. So few more seconds, please. Good evening, Misbah. Yes, Salman, I will be available through the WhatsApp group. Yes, Edmund, thank you for your kind words. Yes, Masha, I can see your comments. Hello, Farwa. The throat is okay, Ronit, not 100% because it's not getting rest. Maybe after tonight it will get some rest. All right, guys, so let us start. Huh? Right, so today is the 5th and sadly the last day of the webinar. And what's today's plan? So this is a very important question which almost every student they ask me. Should we answer the questions in sequence? Okay, it's a very important question. I will guide you on this. After that, the most awaited, I will show you all the formats of applicable in SBL. After that, I will teach you what are the professional skills and how you can score maximum marks in this. Then we will do these two questions to see whether we understood the format and the professional skills. Okay. After that, I will take you through financial ratios, budgets, MIS. This is because in every attempt you get a question on financial ratios, budgets, MIS, or the financial projections. Then we'll talk about a little bit about growth strategy so that you are aware of the basic concepts. You are not caught unaware. And after this, our recap will start. So whatever we've done in the last 4.5 classes, we will recap all the important exam techniques. And then I will tell you the study plan or the study approach which you should adopt from now till the next 3 weeks. I will give you the list of important topics and models, and to end the cherry on the top of the cake, I will give you a list of practice questions. Okay, right. Before we proceed, as usual, those of you whose today is the first day, please make sure that after the December webinar, you watch the September 2020 webinar. It is a mandatory webinar. It was conducted by me only. The reason being that there are a lot of important topics which I had covered in September, which I am not repeating in December. In December, I am doing additional topics. So please, once you're done with December, make sure that you watch the videos of September 2020 webinar. Okay, it's a mandatory thing. September webinar is based on CBE approach, and December webinar is based on manual approach. And those of you who have not yet joined my global SBL WhatsApp group, please send me a message on my WhatsApp number. You can see it on your screen. In case if I'm not able to answer your question in tonight's webinar, please drop your question in the group and I will be, fully accessible on this group till the day of your exam. Okay. Now, today's exam technique, should we answer questions in sequence or not? Before I start, I would like to see what is your view? Should we answer question in sequence or we just choose and pick those questions first where we are more confident? Should we go in sequence? Yes or no? Yes, good answers. Interesting. Very good, Misbah. Right. So let's understand. So I've come up with a midway. Some of you are saying we have to follow sequence. Some of you are saying we should not follow sequence. So let's find a midway solution. Follow the sequence during the first 3 hours. But in the last hour, when the last 60 minutes are left, in that 1 hour, you decide whatever is left and you then choose and pick whichever question you think you can score more. Okay. First of all, there is no negative marking if you disturb the sequence, right? There is no negative marking if you disturb the sequence. So those students who are saying that, okay, we can choose and pick and change the sequence from the start, no marks will be deducted. However, the examiner is very particular about sequence and is very sensitive about sequence. He is kind of very touchy about if people don't follow the sequence for some odd reason, right? So let's not mess with the examiner's emotions. So I would suggest that we follow the sequence, but up till the first 3 hours. In the last 1 hour, when the last 1 hour is left, I would respectfully take the liberty and I will decide which requirement should I do first. Okay. So how do I decide? I would first see which questions are still pending. And if you are bad with your time management, you will be left with at least 3 requirements. So you will look at the topic and the marks, and then you will decide in your personal opinion which topic is easy for you, which question looks easy, which are the low hanging fruits. And then I will first do the low hanging fruits, the high scoring question in my opinion, and then I would do the other question. All right. So normally what I have seen, now listen very carefully, what I have seen is in most of the paper, not all, but most of the paper, I've seen a pattern. What I've seen is that normally the second last question is difficult. The third last or the second last question is difficult, and the last question is easy. Did you understand the catch? So the examiner, they normally, not always, normally the second last question or the third last question is difficult, where students will panic and they will spend more time than it is allowed. And what happens is that in the panic, they mismanage their time, and towards the end, when they come to the last question, they realize that they have left with very less time, but the last question was the easiest. So like sitting ducks, you actually missed out on the question which was easy, and you wasted your time on a question which was difficult. So a smart person, an intelligent person, he will first try to grab the easy marks, right? So always when you reach the last hour, you take a pause of 1 minute or 2 minutes, take a stock of things, see what questions are left, and whichever you think is the easiest question, do that one first. In the end, what will happen? You will, if in case you run out of time, you will miss that question which was difficult anyways, right? So it's sensible to miss a question which was difficult rather than miss a question which was easy. Does it make sense? You need to be cunning, my friends. You are the one who is paying the fees to pass the paper. You need to snatch the marks. And I tell you a very simple thing. Your passing or your failing depends on the last hour. How come? Because supposing in the first 3 hours you are able to grab 40 marks, 42 marks, 43 marks. Now you need 8 to 10 marks more to cross the 50 benchmark to pass the paper. And obviously the last hour you will be getting the last 8 to 10 marks, right? So last hour is basically the make or break hour. If you mess up your last hour, I can promise you, you will not pass, because that's the last lap of the race. So in the last hour, you will be tired physically, mentally. You will be panicking because you have screwed up your time management. But you need to pull up your socks and change the sequence. You then do those questions first where you think you will easily get maximum marks, and then come to the difficult question. Okay, am I very, very loud and clear? Do you understand the cunning approach? If you don't want to be cunning, it's up to you. Then you can give SBL again and again and again. Up to you. But if you want to pass SBL, it's more about smartness and cunningness. Why? Because you require smartness and cunningness in the board of directors meeting. So this is what this paper actually teaches you, how to prioritize, how to be smart. Moses is asking, when you say difficult question, what do you mean and how best we can prepare to tackle the difficult question? Good question, Moses. Difficult question is subjective. It normally means that it's a very stupid topic which you have not studied or it just came out of blue. That's one possibility. Another possibility is that it carries a lot of marks, but there is very little information in the exhibits and you feel it's difficult for you to extract. So anything which gives you sweat, anything which gives you stress, that's a difficult question. Okay. Tom is asking, the first 3 hours include the reading time, right? Yes, the first 3 hours. When I say the first 3 hours follow the sequence, it's actually including the reading time. So the first 2 hours of writing. So last hour you change the sequence. Okay. Integrated reporting and CDMS in this attempt. I didn't understand, Ms. Ba. Are you asking or are you telling? Now, there were some. So in this attempt, there is no technical articles. In the last few months, like last 3 months, there are no technical articles on SBL. But in the previous like 6 to 8 months, there were like 3 technical articles in SBL, and those were all tested in the paper. In the September attempt, it was tested. It was like, I don't remember, was it Bitcoin, cryptocurrencies and IPOs, ICOs. And then in March also, some Internet of Things was tested. So in December, there is no technical article. But if you want to look at the previous technical articles, like 6 to 8 months old, you can go through September webinar. Similarly, in September, the presentation slide, pitfalls of CBE software. I discussed the pitfall means the risks, the possible risk, what can go wrong when you give a CBE exam. I have discussed this in September webinar day 5. So please don't miss September webinar. There is a lot of useful information in that webinar, which I am not repeating in December. Okay. Let me see any questions. English is my second language. How do I make up to get good marks? Susanna. Susanna, you will be happy to know that English is the second language of majority of the students who are giving SBL paper. Majority, like 2/3 of the people giving SBL, English is the second language. If you just count China, South Asia, India, Pakistan, Bangladesh, some European countries where they don't speak English, Middle East, you know, all of them do not have English as their first language, right? So what do you do? When your English is average or unfortunately below average, then you don't try to cook up your own stories. Then you restrict your own drafting. You try to rely more on the copy pasting technique. Okay. So as I said earlier, the way you can link with the case is you need to give facts and figures and problems, issues, and sentences from the case. So you mention those, and then when you add your own comments, be as brief as possible. Okay. Luckily, the examiner understands this point. The examiner has repeatedly said that they will not deduct any marks for bad English, bad grammar, spelling mistakes. because they understand that English is not the first language. However, if your English is really, really bad, then of course, something will happen. But if you are reasonable, you can survive. George is asking, which do you prefer, CBE or written? My all-time preference is CBE for SBL paper. All right, so let's move on. I will take all these open-ended questions in the last 15 minutes, right, guys? I want to first focus on today's agenda. So are you guys ready for the formats? Very, very, very important component of SBL. Almost 60 to 70% questions requires you to prepare a particular format. So first of all, there's a report format. When you're asked to do a report format, supposing this is your answer sheet, okay? Wait, let me draw it properly. Supposing this is your physical paper answer sheet. So in the center of the page, you will write report, like so that the examiner can see that it's a report. Big and caps. Okay. If you are giving a CBE paper, then you can select big bold fonts. Right in the center. Always, start a question from the fresh page. So on the start of the page, you will write report in the center. Then you will say to, from, subject, date, and kindly leave a line between all of these so that it visually looks nicer. Okay. So from to, where you will get to from, it will be mentioned in the question that you need to write a report for which person. It could be the chairman, it could be the CEO, it could be the finance director, it could be the purchase director, whoever. It can be the chair of audit committee, it can be a non-executive director. I don't care. Whatever the question says, I will copy paste the name of the name or the designation of the addressee from the question. It's not a rocket science. You just quickly copy paste. From, in all SBL paper, your role will be defined. Your role is defined in all SBL papers. There are two possibilities. In couple of papers, your role was defined in the start. So it said that you are a business analyst. So throughout all the questions, you are supposed to be the business analyst. So your role was fixed throughout the paper. And in a couple of papers, your role was changed in every question. So it doesn't matter which approach, whatever your role is mentioned, you just copy paste your role. But please don't write your name, okay? Just mention your role, like audit manager. If you're a finance manager, you write finance manager. If you are an external consultant, you write external consultant. Subject needs to be, you will pick it up from the question. No need, you just copy paste, and it has to be short. Few lines. Do not write up 2 lines on subject. And date would be the date of your exams. What is the date of your exam? Do you remember the date of your exam? Is it 8? I think it's 8 November. No, not November, boy. December 2020. Put the date of the paper. After this, you will give a heading introduction after 1 line. And then you would say this report. And then you copy from the question. This report evaluates the proposed acquisition of This report analyzes or identifies the key major risks. This report discusses the ethical implications. Whatever is the requirement, just copy paste the requirement, and then from here you start writing your answer. Now sometimes what happens, listen very carefully, there's a question 1, okay, it says write a report, and then colon, and it says A on this and B on this. This is 12 marks, this is 10 marks. So in this kind of a question, they want a report, and the report should cover both part A and part B. So you don't need to prepare a separate report for part B. You just make one report, one format, and cover both part A and part B in that report. How can you do that? Well, in the subject, you just write both the requirements. You can say key risks and ethical factors. Okay, and in the introduction also you write both the requirements together. This report evaluates, identifies the key risks as well as discuss the ethical factors. Then you give the heading key risks, make a table, and once you're done with that, you write B and you say ethical factors and you give your answer. So use one report, save your time. We use one report to cover both requirements. Last thing, which I've already discussed many times, remember, don't give conclusion or recommendation. If it's a report, please don't give any conclusion or recommendation unless the question specifically asks you to give recommendation. Otherwise, just answer the question and move on. Do I have any questions? Ikra is asking, 2 will include name and designation or only designation? Both. If the name and designation is available, you write both. Do we need to put introduction as a subheading and write introduction, or just Lovish? What kind of question is this? Can't you see here? It's a separate heading, right? It's bold and underlined. So please, refrain for asking such questions that do we need to give a heading for introduction or not. Let me take more questions. In report, how? Yes, Nikhil, I just said that we can answer 2 questions in one report. Yes, if it's question number 1, A and B, then yes. Randolph, just wait, I will discuss the memo format. Okay, wait, hold your horses. Section of a report I will discuss right now. In the end, do we mention our hands and designation? No, save time. Report format and briefing note, same format, not same but very similar. I will show you the briefing paper. Hold your horses. Just talk about report format right now, okay? But sir, in article, the format of a report consists of a conclusion as well. You are right, Ikra. But you are not, if you are a good student, you are a fast student, then go for it. If you are an average student running out of time, you don't have working experience, you're not smart, then please avoid these nice to do things, okay? What about extracts of a report? I will just show you. Do we have to draw lines? If you can draw lines, I mean line, no. You mean underlining? No. You don't have the time for this. Will there be marks for conclusion? No. If the question doesn't ask you for conclusion, there is no mark. Okay. Right, let's move on. Now the questions are starting, the quality is started to going down. How to end the report? Nothing. You just complete your requirement and move on. Okay. Please, you need to understand. You need to save time. Do not do anything which takes your time and doesn't get you any marks. Okay. So these are all ideal things that in a report we gave a conclusion, we end nicely. To hell with it. If you stop at 48 marks, then you will remember all these things. Okay, so just keep it very simple, focus more on time management and try to cover all the requirements. Okay, let's move on. Now many times the examiner asks that prepare a section of the report. Now this is the best thing. Section of the report doesn't require any format. So for example, if this is your page, you just give a broad heading on the center of the page, you write section of a report, and then directly start your answer. No to, no from, no subject, no date, no introduction. Just give a stupid heading of a section of a report, and that's it. That's why I like it. It's a format which doesn't require anything extra. Okay. Now what else? Now, this is another very common requirement. Briefing note, briefing paper, or memo. These are three same things. Sometimes the examiner says prepare a briefing note. Sometimes he says prepare a briefing paper. And sometimes he says write a memo. So please don't get confused. Again, very simple. If this is your page, you give a central heading. Now please don't be dumb enough to write all the three things. Okay, you just write whatever the question says. If it says briefing note, you write briefing note. If it says memo, you write memo. Please don't write all the three things just because I'm showing you all the possibilities. I hope you are more intelligent than this. Now in a briefing paper, it's very, very similar to a report. Instead of to, you say FAO. FAO stands for attention of. So instead of to, you write FAO. And personally, I believe that it doesn't really matter. You can also write to. Okay. But the examiner has written FAO in his suggested answers. So if you remember to write FAO, that's good. Otherwise, you just write to, from, subject, date. And now here, there is no introduction heading. You directly start with the introduction. You will give the introduction that this briefing note or this briefing paper or this memo identifies the key risks. But you will not give the heading of introduction. And then you will, just write your answers from here after this. Please leave a line between all these so that it looks nice. Any questions? Let me check questions. Is there any mark for format? Absolutely, yes. If there is a general mark for format, the professional skills, yes. What is the full form of FAO? I just told, for attention of, but please do not write the full form, okay? Do we get punished for not doing format right? Of course, yes. If you mess up with the format, you will lose professional marks. These are cash marks, my friend, cash marks. Without using your brain, you can get high scores just by following a stupid template or a stupid format. Yeah, take this very seriously. The better the format, the higher marks higher professional marks you'll get. Sir, what if it is a confidential memo? Then you write confidential memo instead of memo. Khalas. Why do you sound so confused? Sir, could we use same briefing notes format in other paper? No, I have no idea. I have no idea about other papers, okay? Please don't quote me, but this is specifically for SBLs. I swear I don't know about other papers. Okay, all right. Section of a report. I just showed you section of a report. Where were you, Ali? How many marks are given for the format? 2, 3. Okay. Just a second, guys. Right. But let's move on. Now, recently, the paper has started asking for an email format, and rightly so, because in my company, most of the correspondence is done on email. Not only in my company, in the corporate world. But it's very simple. Again, if this is your page, you will write a big central heading saying email. The reason is so the examiner can clearly see that you are using a format. Again, a to, a from, the subject, the date, and then you say this email identifies the key risk, and then start your answer. Very similar to a briefing note. Yeah, there's no hard and fast thing. Very simple. Now this one very important. Presentation slide. All papers of SBL, they've asked you to make a presentation slide. So for CBE students, this one is very easy. But for why is it easy for CBE students? Because a presentation template is already provided. So there's a word processor. So in word processor, you just write all your reports, all your answers. But whenever there's a requirement asking you for a presentation slide, there's a specific presentation template available in CBE software. You click on that template and the slide will open. You just need to type into the slide and then type in the supporting notes. Okay, but for manual paper, supposing again this is your paper, this is your answer sheet, the outline of your answer sheet. Wait, this is the outline of your answer sheet. So first of all, you make a box, a big box from corner to corner, right? Make this line, and then make this line. Do not make this last line because you really don't know what will be the length of your number of points. So don't make this last line, okay? Then you just write 3 bullets, maximum 3 bullets per slide, okay? So for example, I've taken the example here of saying HR issues. So in my company, there are 3 HR issues. The first one is high turnover. The second one is low staff morale. And the third one is salaries not aligned with market. These are the 3 HR issues my company is facing. So I will just give these bullet headings, no stories in the inside the slide. It will just be one-liner bullet heading. Where will be the stories? So where will I explain these points? The explanation will be here under the heading called supporting notes. So, so once you are once you have completed the bullets, you draw this last line, close the slide, give a heading supporting notes, give a heading supporting notes, and then explain each of them. Explain each bullet in 2 to 3 lines. So you have, what do I mean by high turnover? I need to link with the case. So in the case, there will be some stats given. some reasons given. So write couple of lines or 3 lines explaining what you mean by high turnover. After that, what you mean by staff low morale, low staff morale, you will explain, and then so there'll be so there are 3 points, so I would expect 3 paragraphs, one for each bullet. Okay, no lengthy stories, because generally the marks, normally it's 5 marks for one slide, normally 4 marks, 5 marks. So please, you need to do very quickly 2 or 3 bullets, and then very small paragraph according to the number of bullets. Can I have questions on slides? Can you show solving a presentation slide? Okay, I will try. But if I'm not able to do it tonight, I have solved a presentation slide question in September. You must watch that. I believe it's on the last day, the day 5. I have a problem in writing slide contents using the right tone. Nothing can be done about it, Afzal. CB students have a slide option, right? Yes, Salman, your CB students, they just need to type. Manual students, they have to draw the big box. Can I have 2 slides on one page? No, you can't, simply because your entire page will be consumed. So half a page will be on the box of the slide, and then remaining half of the page you will be there with supporting notes, right? Please try to use as many pages. Open up your answer. Try to start every slide or every requirement from a fresh page. Email, we write name or email. No name. In the name, you will always write name in the from thing if the name is given, but never ever write your own name. Okay. Should we know the letter format? Yes. No, I didn't went past it. It's the next one. Very good. Wait a second. Sir, in case of 2 slides, a single box. What kind of question is this, Muzammil? You're saying in case of 2 slides, a single box? My God, Muzammil, please be kind to yourself. How can you ask these questions? One box is one slide having one set of supporting notes. So if you're supposed to do 2 slides, then 2 boxes and 2 supporting notes. Please, don't you plan to become a CFO? To stop asking these kind of questions. Brian, please ask this question. In the end, I would like to answer it. Okay. Do we use any headings in briefing paper? Yes, for when you give your points, always use your headings. There is no hard and fast restriction. Once the format is done, then you whatever answer you are writing, use as much headings you would like to use. It's actually good. Okay, move on. Letter format. This has just been tested once, I believe. So again, if this is your page, you will first on the right top corner, you will write your designation, like this one is basically from. So you will write your designation, assistant auditor, company name, country name. On the left, you will write the date, and this is basically the 2 thing like chairman, company name, country name. There'll be a subject. You will do a salutation, respected chairman, and then you start your answer. Okay, so just have a look at this format, and there's nothing technical. You just need to remember, right top is your details, left hand side is the addressee details, and then okay. Again, a press release or a web release format. This has been tested once. Very simple. Again, if this is a page, you will give a central heading, press or website release, as the case may be. If it's a press release, you say press release. If it's a website release, you say a website release. Then you will write the subject. Then you will write from in the next line. Okay. Don't write subject like this and then the story. No, don't use the word subject. Directly give the subject, type the directly write whatever is actually required. Now from, be very careful in from. Any press release or website release cannot be made by you. It can either be from the chairman and then, or it can be from the CEO, because only these two persons are authorized to communicate or through a press release or a web release. Okay, so depending who has asked you and center aligned. Okay, do you understand? It should look like this. Press release, subject, and then here you will just start answering your questions. Very simple. In the end, if you remember, you can write this. In the end, if you remember, just write this one sentence, that for further information, contact our company's public relation department. Why? Because it's a press release. You are, publishing this in the newspaper, or you're publishing this on your website. So if people, they want to take more details, so you give them a link. Let me look at questions. Is this format, every format? Yeah, this one is center aligned. Yes. No audio. Admin, can you confirm that you can hear me? Oh, it's okay now. Okay. All right. Okay, guys, great. I'm very scared when you are not able to hear me. Whew. Now there's something called a business case format. This is normally used in questions relating to project management. Okay. So when the question talks about project or project management and it asks you to prepare a business case, you just write a central heading, a business case. I think I missed it here. You will just write, if this is a if this is a page, just write first in center so that the examiner can see. It's a big thing, business case. And then there are three broad headings. Current situation heading you need to write, and then you explain the current situation. After that, you leave a line and you say proposed option. You say what the solution is, and then you talk about the proposed option, like what are the benefits. That's it. You first talk about the current situation or the current problem, then you say what is the proposed solution, and then you evaluate or talk about the advantages of the proposed option. Let me see. Okay, good. The last thing is project initiation document. This has been tested several times, I think at least 3 times. So it seems that it's a very interesting or a favorite topic of the examiner, because it requires a lot of things. So this is the format of, these are the contents of a project initiation document. Okay, all these are the contents, and you need to cover all this. When you are supposed to prepare a PID, you're supposed to cover all this heading. So unfortunately, you will need to remember these 8 items. Is it 8? I don't know. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 items. So you need to talk about the scope and objective of the project. Then you talk about the main key costs and key benefits of the project. Then you need to talk about who's the project sponsor. This is normally a director level person. Then you talk about the project manager. Some information will be given in the case about project manager. Then you need to talk about the project team. Some information will be given about the project team. You just copy paste. Then you need to identify the key stakeholders affected by this project. Then you talk about the duration of the project. It will be given in the scenario. You just copy paste. Then you talk about key risks. So just remember these 3 risks. And the project on a high level, these are the 3 risks: quality risks, time overrun, cost overrun. Just mention these 3 risks and move on. Save time. Constraints, you need to talk about human resource and financial resource or technology resource. Okay. And then, so I'm not covering PID today because this topic was covered in a lot of detail in September. And I have actually solved a proper question on PID. So please, you need to watch, you know what? The September webinar for project initiation document. All right, we are just appearing the last bit of format, and I have discussed this yesterday as well. Remember, in case you get a question on identify any weakness and give recommendation, we follow a tabular format. Similarly, if you get a question on identify key risks and recommend mitigation factors, we follow a tabular format. Yesterday, someone asked a very interesting question, that do we make a tabular format inside a memo? Yes, you can. So if it's a memo is required, you first make a memo, give all the requirements of a memo, and then you make a table inside the memo or inside the report. It doesn't matter. So here I end the format bit. Do I have any questions on format? In press release, should we mention the requirements? Intro is required or not? It's subjective. Yes, you can say that this press release addresses the concerns raised about the ethical issues, Format for extracts of briefing paper. I have never seen an extract of briefing paper. If it says extract, then you just write extract of briefing paper, and it's just like a section of a report. You treat an extract of a briefing paper. Is there a closing in the letter? Forget about it. We are struggling with time management in the paper. Okay. Will it be mentioned that we should put forward a business case in the question? Absolutely, yes. Whether the tone of an answer should reflect the format required? Absolutely, yes. Your tone of the answer, it depends on the reader. If you're, I will cover this in communication skills. In PID, do we need to include background? If you have time, then yes, otherwise no. Can we write like how it is shown in the PID template? Unlike the usual paragraph, just follow the template, okay, and see the September webinar and you will get clear. In PID, should we use column format? Yes, please. Make a table format, yeah. Can the handouts of September be provided? Yes, I think it's on the WhatsApp group in my Google Drive. September handouts and September videos, all of them are in my Google Drive. And tomorrow I will upload December videos, all the 5 webinars and all the handouts in my Google Drive. Okay, and you can access my Google Drive. where if you are part of the SBL WhatsApp group. Okay, what's the time? It's not even 1 hour. It looks like we covered a lot of things, but time is in our favor. Good. Let's talk about professional skills. Now, before we talk about professional skills, you need to understand that professional skills carries 20 marks. Out of 100, professional skills carries 20 marks. So 20% of your paper depends on this one slide. Can you imagine? Like 80% for the 80% or the 80 marks for technical paper, we spent 4.5 days of webinar with so many slides and so many topics. And this remaining 20 marks or 20% of the paper just depend on this one slide. So I don't call them professional marks, I call them cash marks. These are cash marks. These are low-hanging fruits. Please try to grab as much of professional marks as much as you can. If you score like out of 20, if you score at least 12 or 13 or 14 professional marks in total, I can assure you, you will pass the paper. But out of 20, if you score 7, 8, 9 professional marks out of 20, you will fail on the professional marks, and I can assure you, you will never pass SBL. So if you score like at least 12, 13 marks in professional skills, you are done. You will be sailing. It's cash marks. Okay. So I need all your attention. I will teach you how to grab maximum cash marks. Now, if you look at the examiners explanations and a lot of videos in YouTube and this and that, teachers make it very complicated. This nice fancy definitions. I don't care about nice fancy definitions. In your paper, you need to be thinking from your head. You don't have time. So I'll just give you, some very basic tips. First of all, evaluation skill. It's very easy to grab full marks or maximum marks in evaluation skill. How? Just make sure you include both pros and cons. So normally, evaluation skill means that you need to give a balanced assessment of any situation. And balanced assessment means that you need to identify the pros and the cons, so the board of directors gets a complete picture which will help them take a decision. Obviously, if the board wants to take a decision, they want to know the full scenario, right? The plus points and the minus points. It's not rocket science. So evaluation skill, whenever the question says demonstrate evaluation skill, make sure that you give pros and cons of that option. Normally this skill is asked whenever we need to assess any proposed strategy and you are asked to demonstrate evaluation. So you will cover the pros and cons of the proposed strategy. You will not talk only about pros or only about cons. It has to be just a second. It has to be a balanced assessment. Okay. Now, when we say pros and cons, it doesn't have to be 50-50. The mix of pros and cons will depend on the availability of the information. So even if you give like 5 pros and 1 con, because the question provided you with 5 pros and 1 con, it's perfectly fine. or if the question, even if you give 1 pro and 5 cons because the information available was just like that, it's fine. It doesn't have to be equal and equal. But you need to make sure that whenever you are tested with evaluation skill, you need to talk about pros and cons. Now, this is the high level thing. Okay. Now, there could be a couple of exceptions. Sometimes the examiner says critically evaluate. So in that kind of scenario, you would focus more on the cons, but please do not ignore a pro. Okay, you just give one advantage and then you start talking about blah 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 about so many cons because you need to do critical evaluation. Another exception could be that sometimes in the question the examiner specifically tells you what to do under evaluation skill. Okay, so you need to read the entire requirement, and I will demonstrate to you right now after this session that sometimes the examiner specifically tells you what he wants you to do under evaluation skill. Then you try to focus more on that specific thing which he wants to see. But if it's silent, if it just says demonstrate evaluation skill, it by and large means you need to give a balanced assessment. Your answer should cover both pros and cons. As simple as that. It doesn't require any extra technical knowledge. Do I have any questions on evaluation skills? I hope not, because it's simple. Technical marks have a multiplier with professional skills. Afzal, what kind of difficult questions you're asking, please? Okay, very good. Afzal, just elaborate on your question. I'm not able to understand. I've never heard about this thing like technical marks should have a multiplier with professional skills. Technical marks have a multiplier. No, I really don't understand. Should we make headings for pros and cons? No, 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 no. You think the board wants to see headings of pros and cons? How kiddish. Give headings of your points. That's acceptable. Okay, but cover the pros and cons without giving headings. I'm glad you asked this question, Mustaqim. Very good. Let's move on. Second skill is called analysis skill. Again, basically you investigate reasons for variances. So analysis just means you need to investigate and identify reasons. So for example, if you are giving a financial statements and the P&L is deteriorating, if the revenue is going down, the costs are going up, and you're supposed to analyze it, then automatically it means that you need to investigate why the revenues are going down. And of course, in the exhibits, information will be there why the revenue is going down. It may be due to competition, it may be due to political factors, it may be due to bad quality. Whatever exhibit the reason is given in the exhibit, you just pick up that sentence and give it as reasons for variance. So whenever you investigate any root cause, any reason, you are done. Just imagine, right? When you tell the board the revenue is going down, what's the next question they will ask? Mr. CFO, why the hell the revenue is going down, right? So then you will give them some reasons. You need to investigate why the revenue is going down. Similarly, if the expenses are going up or the gross profit is going down, they will ask you, why, Mr. CFO, our cost is going up? So you need to tell them the reason is that, we are importing some stuff, and because of weak foreign currency, the cost of import is going up, or the quality was bad, or there was a shortage of raw materials, so we had to purchase. Whatever story It will be given in the exhibit. You don't have to cook up. But analysis skills simply means that you investigate and identify the reasons or the root cause. If there's a fraud and you're asked to do an analysis, you will try to find out the root cause, the reason how the fraud happened, why the fraud happened, what went wrong. So you dig inside, you look at the root cause and investigate the reasons. Normally this question is given when there's a financial spreadsheet or a financial information is given. You're asked to analyze. You just look at the variances and clearly mention the reasons or the root cause of those variances. Again, nothing technical here. You don't need to do anything extra, no extra technical knowledge required. Whenever you see that you are supposed to do analyze something, you have to demonstrate analysis skill. That means you need to investigate and find out the reasons or the root causes of the problem. Again, sometimes the examiner would mention, sometimes he would mention specifically what you need to do if you want to demonstrate analysis skills. So if he specifically mentions that, then you follow that. Otherwise, it simply means, by and large, it means that you need to link with the root cause. Do I have any questions? I hope not. Yes, Afzal, you're absolutely right. So if you don't, in case there's a technical mark and a professional mark, if you have not done your professional marks properly, the examiner may reduce some of your technical marks because he's pissed off. In use of ratios required, yes, Rami is very good. Under analysis skills, normally we use ratio analysis, reasons for variances, why GP margin is going down. Very good. Riaz, I already answered this question. Okay. All right. So far, so good. I think you guys are understanding professional skills. The third one is called communication skill. Now, communication skill is again very simple to grab. Just a second, guys. Give me 10 seconds, please. Sorry, I'm back. Communication skill is very simple. First of all, you need to focus a lot on the format required. So if it says report, then you give a very, very nice, hot, sizzling report. If they ask you for a presentation slide, you prepare a very, very nice, sizzling, hot presentation slide. Okay. Please, it's very simple. Try to grab these cash marks. Take the format seriously. So first of all, you focus on the format. Second thing is you keep the tone of your answer, keeping in mind the reader. Okay. So if you are writing, if you are a finance manager and you are writing to finance director, then you can use technical or accounting words like high gearings or deferred taxations, or you can talk like an accountant. But if you are writing to the CEO, or you're writing to the HR manager, HR director, or you're writing to NEDs, or you're writing to the public, then you talk simple layman language which everybody can understand. Okay, again, it's not difficult. If you just be normal, just avoid using accounting or technical words. That's it. Keep the tone nice, right? Any questions on communication skills? Focus more on the formats and the, can we use different color pens? No. Do we want to mention this 5 thing in every question? Which 5 things, Uni? Which 5 things in every question? Is communication still tested throughout the whole exam questions? Kind of yes, okay. This slide, which 5 things? Do we need to mention these 5 things? No. Oh, okay. No. I get your question, Uni. Every requirement in SBL will specifically tell you which professional skill you need to demonstrate in this question. So it's not like that you have to demonstrate all these 5 in any one question. One skill at a time. So each question will ask you to demonstrate a specific skill. That's what makes SBL easier. If you are supposed to do all these 5 skills, you would go bonkers. You are not experienced enough, right? So it's one skill at a time and it will be mentioned. And I will show you. After the break, we will do one full SBL paper and I will show you how to handle it. Okay, let's move on. The fourth one is communication, commercial acumen. Again, a commercial acumen, nothing extra needs to be done. You just don't think like an accountant. You know, when you talk to an accountant, the first thing he will say is costs. Like yesterday, when I asked, what are the factors to determine whether we should have an internal audit function or not? So most students, the first factor they said was cost benefit analysis. So you were thinking like an accountant. It's in your blood now, unfortunately. But SBL is a leadership paper. It's a boardroom paper. In boardroom, only one director is a finance guy. Okay. Others are non-finance guys. So commercial, they are more interested in the commercial aspects. So commercial acumen simply means that you give some business solutions and you don't have to do anything extra. If it says identify major risks, then you just identify all major risks. Then you just don't focus on financial related risk only. Then you talk about business risk, you talk about reputational risk, you talk about environmental risk. Any risk which you see in the exhibit, you just pick it up. So you don't actually need to consciously do anything extra for communications. Sorry, for commercial acumen. So don't use financial or accounting terminologies and use words like market share, competitive edge, opportunities, threats, risks. These are the business words, right? The commercial words. Any questions? Ikra, I think to the board. What does mean by jargon? Doesn't matter. We have to follow the professional skill when question asks us to do so, or is it mandatory? It is mandatory mainly because you see almost all the questions have a professional skill attached to it. Very rarely there's a question without a professional skill. So by default, you will be supposed to follow professional skills for all the questions. Yes, Anjali, you are right. Use of business words are restricted to these only? No, Adnan. No. try to use business words throughout the paper. It will actually get you good marks because the examiner wants to see that you are a strategic business leader, not a strategic finance leader. So all the 13 subjects you are doing are all about finance or audit or law or reporting. But this paper talks about business leader. So the more business words you use throughout the paper, it's actually good for you. You need to demonstrate that you not only a CFO, you are a business minded CFO. Okay. Okay, very nice, very nice. Let's move on to the last one. Um, Skepticism skill. Now, this one, in my personal opinion, is relatively the most difficult out of the 5 skills we discussed. So evaluation skill, very simple. Analysis, we know what to do. Communication, we know what to do. Commercial acumen, I mean, we don't have to do anything consciously in the 4 skills which we discussed. Little bit focused and you will be there. However, in skepticism, you need to use a negative tone in your answer. So you have to deliberately change the tone of your answer. You need to deliberately adopt a negative tone, a questioning tone, a challenging tone. Hey, I don't like your face, rather than saying your face is not good. You understand? Hey, I don't agree with you. Hey, I don't think you're right. You are not confronting, but in a respectful manner. Questioning mind. Skepticism means that as a director, you challenge something. If someone is bullshitting, someone is talking nonsense in the board, like marketing director is singing some nice stories that my sales are going up and we are working so hard, and you say, excuse me, Mr. Marketing, I disagree respectfully because the sales numbers do not support what you are saying. So obviously, when you challenge someone, when you disagree with someone, it has to be based on certain facts and figures. You just don't challenge someone for the heck of challenging, right? So in skepticism, normally you need to be negative. You need to identify the wrong things, the negative points, but with logics. So you can use words like I disagree, or it seems incorrect, or sorry, it's not clear, or it should be further investigated. You're challenging someone, not accepting on face value. So I feel that for skepticism, you need to take a pause and then adopt a negative drafting mentality and a negative drafting tone. So only I think in skepticism, you need to be extra careful, extra conscious. Why? You understand? Because in evaluation, you just need to make sure that you include pros and cons. In analysis, you just need to make sure that you give the reasons for variances or reasons for the problems. Communication, you just make sure that the format is hot and sizzling. Commercial acumen, you just need to make sure that you use like business words rather than accounting words. So nothing extra or consciously you need to do. As long as you copy paste information, you'll be done. But in this skepticism, you need to deliberately change the drafting tone of your answer. So please, don't forget skepticism. Here you need to do extra step. Let me look at questions. I feel skepticism is the simplest, or maybe I am like that. But Salo, that's a good observation. Maybe some people have an investigative mind, some people have a challenging mind. So you speak your mind out. You don't trust people, you don't accept the arguments, you challenge it. That's good. It's easy for you. We have to probe, question, challenge. Yes, Afzal, absolutely correct. Can international examples be given for commercial acumen? Yes, why not? Who stops you? Commercial acumen means anything which makes sense to the business. Okay. Good one, guys. Good one. In skepticism, can we act as an external auditor? Yes, you can, if that's how your mind operates, but don't mention this in the answer. You just think you are the parent and you are scolding your child. Okay. Or you are the boyfriend or the girlfriend and you are doubting your partner and you're asking some difficult questions. I disagree. You think I'm stupid or stuff like that. Okay. Okay, don't take this seriously, just a light humor. All right, okay, good enough. So now we did a lot of formats and we did the professional skills. So I can promise you, if you focus on the formats and you focus on the professional skills, there's a very high chance you will pass. Okay, just focus on, because it's in the boardroom, it's all about presentation, being nice, being logical, being professional. Technical knowledge is not very difficult, right? These boards are idiots. They don't know about models and this and that. As long as you talk sense, you are done. Okay, there's no one right answer. Just talk sense, link with the exhibits, remain within the exhibits, you are done. Okay, so now, are you ready for a full proper question of SBL, or you want to have a break now? Because I probably would do, not okay, we'll do one question. You want a break now, or you want to do one paper and then take a break? Oh, you need a break? Okay, me too, guys. Now I think we should take a break and then come with a fresh mind and see the paper. All right, so guys, it's like 8:55 here, which means 9:55 p.m. Pakistan Standard Time. So I will see you at 10 p.m. Pakistan Standard Time. It's a 15 minutes break. See you in a bit. Right, guys, welcome back from the break. And if you can hear me, can you please type yes? Very good. Excellent. Thank you so much. So now let's start. I want to show you, let's handle one full paper. Okay. Let's handle one few paper because so far we have been doing random questions from here and there. I want you to go through one full paper of SBL. So, so we will do December, oops, 2018 paper highlight hotels. This is an actual 2018 December paper. As usual, the first thing we should expect is the introduction or the background page. You see this highlight hotel is a listed hotel chain located in the country of D-land. D-land has a developed economy which has experienced strong growth in the last 15 years. D-land also has a high developed tourism industry. So the economy overall is also good, and like pastel factor is good, and tourism industry is also good. So that's the background, like 2-3 paragraphs you would see. Now here, can anybody tell me why did I highlight this? Did you understand? Let me know what information is there. Yes, absolutely right. This is your role. Just talk very simple. This is the role. Forget about addressee or no addressee. This is my role. So in this paper, my role has been defined right in the introduction. So throughout all the questions, my role is that I am an employee of the company. Remember this, you are an insider. You are the employee of which company? You are the employee of Highlight Hotels. So you will use words like we, us, ours. Okay, you will not talk like a external student or an external third person. You are an insider, and your designation is senior business analyst. Okay, is this clear, guys? Now there's a list of 6 exhibits always. So exhibit 1 is a chief executive statement report on performance for the year ending. Or and exhibit 2 is D-land hotel industry report. Exhibit 3 is a fact sheet relating to highlights proposed acquisition target. Exhibit 4 is D-land daily news article. 5 is extract of senior management team briefing and board meeting minutes. Okay. Then now the game starts. Now you see Question number 1. Required 1A. The chief business analyst has asked you to prepare briefing notes for the finance director for consideration at the next board meeting, which discusses the key factors which have enabled Highlight to be successful in its home country of D-Land. 16 marks. And professional skills marks are available for demonstrating analysis skills in investigating and considering information from a range of sources, 3 marks. So what's the format here? You're supposed to do briefing notes for finance director. What do you need to do? Discuss the key factors which have enabled Highlight to be successful in the home country of D-Land. So Highlight is a successful company. Okay, when you will read the entire background, the exhibits, the annual reports, the financials, you will feel it's basically the #1 in the country. It's the market leader, the largest hotel, strong profits, strong cash flows. It is successful. And now you need to identify the key factors why Highlight is successful. Okay, 16 marks. And then you need to investigate the reasons. So it's analysis skills, nothing extra. So now, first of all, the first thing, marks planning. How many points planning? How many points? I will do this for every question. How many points? 16 marks plus 3 is equal to 19 marks total. Divide by 2 marks per point gives us 10. So we need to identify 10 factors or 10 points. Okay, guys, you tell me. Do you agree with 10? Very good. 9 to 10. Okay, good. Very good. Okay, I will do that, Tom. Now so we know, now let me open this. Let's do the format. So this briefing note, I have a question. This briefing note is required for 1A or is it for 1A and B both? It's for 1A, right? Okay. So now I will let's draw the briefing notes. So this is my page. I would write big in center. I would write question 1A and I would say big heading in center, big fonts so that the examiner can see. And then what else? It has to be leave one line, leave one line, leave one line, leave one line, and that's it. Done. We are done with the briefing notes format. Now, for attention of, can anybody tell me? Finance director. From, what's my role? You must remember. Subject. Now, subject I will pick up from the requirements. discusses the key factors which have enabled highlight to be successful. Can anybody recommend me a small to the point subject? Please recommend me a small to the point subject. Analysis of key factors? No. I want to see the word keys, the success. Key factors of highlight success. Yeah, that's better. Success factors, that's good. Key factors of the success of highlights, that's too lengthy. Highlight success factor. Why do you need to mention highlight? You are an insider, right? Do you understand? Why do we need to mention highlight? The finance director is an insider. Yeah, okay, got it. So now, plus date is the paper of that paper is on 8 December, correct? Now, it's not straight. Is it okay? Yeah. So did you see the format? It's very simple, right? Now you will write the opening para. This briefing. Is it briefing paper or briefing note? I think it's briefing note, right? Briefing note. Now I will copy paste from here. I will just, wait a second. I will just copy paste from here. Discusses the key factors which have enabled highlight to be successful in DLAN. Simple. This briefing note, quickly discusses the key factors which have enabled. You can say highlight or you can say us. Highlight to be successful in DLAN. So here we end the format bit. Okay, it's not a rocket science. Then again you name. Now you what do you want to do? You will just list down the key success factors, or you can say, if you want to make it look nice, key success factors, and then you start one, you give a heading, and then you write, and then another one, give a heading, and then explain another point. Leave one line between each point. You want to give a heading, you can. If you want to just write 1, 2, 3, 4 points like paragraphs, you can. How many points? I need to see 10 points. Okay, let me take questions. Porter Diamond, Ruchita, I will shoot you. I have been shouting my head off. Stay away from models. Don't use models unnecessarily. If you look at my list of top 10 models, Porter Diamond is not there. I swear I did not talk about Porter Diamond in the last 5 days. I didn't even mention about it. How can you do this? How can you say you need to use Porter Diamond? You're shooting yourself on your leg. Why? Because if you start using Porter Diamond, you think the finance director gives a shit about Porter Diamond? He has asked you for a straight question, what are our key success factors? You tell them, okay, listen, our strategies are good, our employees are good, our financial position is good, the industry is booming, the economy is booming, all the things which has contributed. So please stay away from the model. When do you guys will grow up? You can talk about few internal factors. Now, success depends on both. Success depends on external factors being favorable, like pestle and porter environment. You don't need to use pestle and porter, but you can always think about those points, like the political situation may be favorable, the economic situation may be favorable, social conditions, technology is good. Just refer to the model to frame your points. But you don't, the finance director doesn't really is interested in a model, right? Similarly, you can talk about some internal factors like human resource, financial resource, IT, and brand. These are the four internal resources. I will repeat. Whenever we talk about internal resources, you can talk about four things: human resource or employees, financial resource, IT, brand. Okay. So please avoid models, but focus on the format. That's very important. No compromise on the format. See, it looks very professional. And then you give another point, another paragraph. So I will count the number of paragraphs. Okay, don't need to write numbers. Okay, just give, maybe you can give a heading, external factors, a subheading if you want, and you talk about external factors, or you can just go in sequence. This much planning is not practical in an exam situation, right? What I will do is I will count the number of paragraphs: one paragraph, two paragraph, three paragraph, four paragraph. I want to see how many paragraphs. 10 paragraphs. And then what is the evaluation skill for? The evaluation skill is for analysis skill. So you're basically you are by default, you are identifying the factors behind our success. So you don't need to do anything extra as long as you properly identify the factors behind our success. Already you are investigating, already you are achieving professional marks, but just keep this one in mind. It says from a range of sources. So your point should not come out from one particular exhibit. Okay, because there is information about this question. It is scattered in at least 2 or 3 places. So if you pick up information, like there's an exhibit on industry, I saw that somewhere that there's an industry report. Pick up something from here. There's an annual report, pick up something from here. There's a news article, pick up something from here. I don't know. So as long as you pick up from multiple, like at least 2 exhibits, you don't really need to do anything extra for analysis skills. Am I clear? Do you understand the approach? Do you think what I just showed you, is it easy, or do you think it's difficult? This is very basic planning, very basic planning. Easy, right? That's why I've been telling all along, do not complicate SBL. It's very basic. Okay, now move to question number 1B. We will do this entire paper, so I will not leave unless you guys are experts. B. Using the fact sheet referred to above and any other relevant information, prepare a report for the finance director which evaluates the proposal to acquire comfy stay hotels. Very simple. We need to give a report addressed to finance director, and it's supposed to evaluate the proposal. Okay. Professional skills marks are available for demonstrating evaluation skill. Very simple. I just need to focus on both pros and cons, so that I give a balanced assessment so that the board can take a correct decision. Demonstrating professional skills and presenting a balanced and an objective appraisal of the relevant information. Nothing needs to be done extra. Just make sure that you give both pros and cons. Marks 16 and 14. All right, quick. How many points? 16 plus 4. 20. Divide by 2. I need 10 points. 10 points. Okay, let's go to I would say question 1B. It is called a big report in the center of a fresh page, and it will talk about to leave a line, from leave a line, subject leave a line, date to. Subject I need to go to. Tell me a subject, guys, which evaluates the proposal to acquire comfy stay hotel chain. Tell me a subject, quick, short, to the point. Very evaluation of proposal, very bad subject, Tom. Evaluation of proposal, it's such a general stupid subject. Then why bother giving a subject if you can't judge what this report is about? Be more specific. Subject, the purpose of subject is that you exactly know what this report is going to talk about. Acquisition proposal, no, be more specific. Yes, comfy stay, something to talk about. Comfy stay, very good. The more specific you may get, the more marks you can score, right? No need to mention the word proposal, okay? Right, very short and very specific. Okay, let me show you. Subject. Date. Now what? I need to talk about introduction. Very simple. This report. Now I copy paste. Now I can write a long thing. Subject needs to be small, but introduction can be copy pasted from this. Evaluates the proposal to acquire comfy stay hotel chain. Very simple. This report evaluates the proposal to acquire comfy stay hotel chain. Now, if you look at September webinar, whenever we need to analyze or evaluate a proposal to acquisition, we try and use the model SFA. So the first point is suitability. You give a heading suitability and you talk about the few points here. Okay, next heading is feasibility. and then you couple of points here. That's it. How many points I need? 10 paras or 10 points in total. How do I score professional skills? You forgot about professional skills? It says about evaluation skills. So I make sure that I cover some good points and some risks or negative points as well. Just make sure, and it will be given in the exhibits. If you properly just copy paste information from the exhibit, by default you will get both pictures, pros and cons. Just look at the format. Is it difficult? It's not difficult. It's such high scoring cash marks. So this portion is cash marks. This portion, oh sorry, this portion is cash marks, for God's sake. Do this one very nicely. Leave lines, leave lines. So this is cash marks, and then 10 points. Okay. Do I have any questions? Yes, James, that's good. Can we directly write pros of acquisition? Yes, you can. As I said, if you don't use a model, you can directly write the pros and cons, but you have to be in a, present it in a structured manner. As long as it's not haphazard, it makes a proper flow. You first talk about external factors, then you talk about some internal factors, then you analyze some financials. It's fine. Sir, please, should we have pros and cons in suitability and acceptability and feasibility? No, 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 no. It's not, you don't have to mention pros and cons under suitability and then pros and cons under feasibility. It's not like that. Come on. Overall, you need to mention pros and cons. So maybe in suitability there is no cons, then you don't mention. Maybe in feasibility there is a con, you mention there. So it's all never like this. Okay, it's a business paper. Whatever information is there, you just produce like that. Don't create stories on your own. Is the format considered in the technical marks? Yes. Can we underline before introduction? Yes, it would look nice if you have a scale. Sir, pros and cons of what? The proposal, bhaiya. There'll be there is information in the case. It will tell you that there are some good things, there this thing, that thing. So pros and cons of this proposal, the acquisition of the comfy hotel. This is where the exhibits comes in. I'm not going into exhibits right now. I'm just telling you the focusing on the format and the number of points and the professional skills. These are cash marks. This is where many students, they fail. They focus more on technical stuff and forget this chunk. Can we mention any assumption? No, not from your own. If there's an assumption in the case, then yes, in the exhibits. Salman, I can see your message. Where is your earlier message? Salman, sir, things like this which leads to, oh, okay, thank you, Salman. All right, let's move on. Let me close these two papers. Now, third question, move on. Quick. Question number 2A. 2A, prepare a draft press release. Oh my God. Responding to the criticism, assessing the social and environmental impact of highlights, proposed investments in Villandia. with a view to reassure its stakeholders of highlight intention to 10 marks. And professional skills are available for demonstrating communication skills in clarifying and conveying relevant information to highlight stakeholders. First of all, decide the number of points. 10 plus 3 is equal to 13, divided by 2, 6 to 7 points. And let's see, if you read the requirement, you need to respond to the criticisms assessing the social and environmental impact. So you need to break it up. Social impact talks about employees, customers, suppliers, society. Environmental impact talks about the pollution, carbon emission, carbon footprint, stuff like that. Okay, so 6 to 7 points in total to be split between social and environmental, depending on the availability of information. 3 to 4 points here and 3 to 4 points there. Do you understand the marks planning? I want a yes. Do you understand the marks planning? Okay. Now let's go to the format. So what do we need to do here? Format here is draft a press release. Aha. Interesting. What heading I would first give? And then remind me, press release. Let me go through the format. I forgot the format. I'm not as smart as you guys. Press release, press release, press release. Ah. Press release, the heading is there. Okay. The heading is there. Now, subject. Subject, where can I get? Draft a press release, prepare a draft press release responding to the criticisms, assessing the social and environmental impact of highlights, proposed investment in Villandia. Okay, keep it simple. And then, what do you need? Subject from. So if you read the exhibit from, there's a name of the CEO mentioned, you don't know because you haven't read it, but in exhibit 1, the exhibit 1, yeah, you see the CEO, they've even given him a nice sizzling hot CEO's picture. He's the CEO of Highlight. I like him. He's from Uganda or Kenya or somewhere like that, Africa. Good, good, good. His name is Bernie Vox, and he's the chief executive. Now how difficult is this, guys? Be honest. How difficult is this? I never use my brain. I just reproduce the format. Why you guys need to sweat and take stress? Forget about technical. Focus on formats, number of points, professional marks, and the rest will automatically fall in place. Now, opening sentence. This, we need to say what this press release is about. Where is the question? Draft a press release responding to the criticisms of social. This press release clarifies the social and environmental impact of highlights proposed investment in India. This I'm just copy pasting by memory, and then I would give a heading. And then I would write 2 or 3 points. How many paragraphs? 1, 2. Leave one line between each para. 3. And then after that, you will give a heading environmental impact and 3 paragraphs, or depending on the information, total 6 to 7 paragraphs. Now, how difficult is this? Done. So if you read the relevant exhibits, you will get information, and this is where you must practice the linking aspects with the case. So on day 1, I had told you how to link, how to identify information, how to do your referencing. Remember referencing? So if you would have done proper referencing while you were reading, you will just pick up all the points of 2A and put it here. Questions? Like media talks to defend ourselves? Yes, correct. Absolutely correct, Shahzad. Can we say this PR responds to the criticisms? Yes, you can. But saying that this press release responds to the criticisms sounds, and you're printing it in the newspaper, it's kind of, we are shooting our own self, right? Can we do this during the first hour of planning? No, Jawad. This level of planning, this will be done for each question separately, right? So you cannot do this planning in the first hour. First hour, you just focus on referencing. This kind of planning doesn't take more time. It's 1 minute. So when you start a specific question, you plan the number of points, you write the ending time, and then you start all this. Shweta, there is no fixed format. Whatever you feel is easy, you can do. Is there a particular tone of communication in press release? Yes, it should be simple and respectful, because you are talking to the public. You cannot point fingers at them or take a head-on collision with them. Can we write on the paper referencing directly on the exhibits? Yes, you can write on the paper. Please watch my day 1 video. How many points in press release? I will break your head, Usman Saab. I did marks planning, points planning right in front of you. Divide by 2. Okay? Please don't ask these questions now on the last day. All right, move on. What else? What else? What else? What else? Question 2B. The finance director has asked you to provide her with briefing notes, which she will use to assist her discussion with highlights board members, which assesses the role and benefits of integrated reporting. 12 marks. 2 things: role and advantages. Don't forget, I need separate headings for role and a clear heading for benefits. Marks planning, 12 marks. What's professional skills for? Evaluation skills. Using appropriate professional judgment to assess how useful integrated reporting could be to the stakeholders. Simply means that you talk about the good points, benefits, but make sure to give one disadvantage or one limitation of integrated reporting, simply because it talks about evaluation skills. So you just need to mention one negative points. Why one? Because we need to focus more on the benefits. All right, marks planning, 12 plus 3. Mr. Usman, points planning, 12 plus 3 is 15, divided by 2, 7 to 8 points. So I think maybe roll 2 to 3 to 4 points in role and 3 to 4 points in benefits, making sure that one of the benefit talks about the disadvantage, just to score more on evaluation skills. Format, it's a briefing note. We already did a briefing note. It will be called briefing note. FAO is finance director from a senior business analyst. Subject is integrated reporting. Date, and then the opening sentence would be that this briefing note assesses the role and benefits of integrated reporting. Full stop. No lengthy stories. And then you will give the heading role, give 3-4 roles, then you give the heading benefits, talk about 3-4 benefits. Are you understanding, or do you need me to do it physically and show you? The role of integrated reporting is, it's a definition. You need to remember the definition. If you look at my September webinar, the role of the integrated report is to demonstrate the link between the governance, the strategies, the financial performance, and the social and environmental activities of an organization, and it shows how organization creates value in short, medium, and long term. That's the role. Now, what's the benefit of integrated reporting? You just go through the notes and the September webinar. Okay, move on. Question number 3A. I'm trying to look for a question in which they want a report for both parts of the question. Okay, the chief business analyst has asked you to write a report. You see again a report for the next board meeting, which discusses the potential challenges to highlight posed by the development of disruptive technologies which are emerging in hotel industry, and highlight the potential application of disruptive technologies which may be considered by highlight. There are two things. We need to first identify the potential challenges from disruptive technologies and highlight the potential application. Means how do we handle the challenge. Points planning, 14 plus 4 is equal to 18, divided by 2 is 9 points. So we need to identify. This was one of the baddest question of this attempt, because it was carrying like 18 marks and 9 points, and the case there was not sufficient information on this. So because it's the second last question, you would be entering the last 60 minutes. So I would have pushed this question towards the end, and I would have gone for 3B. Okay, because there are just 3 questions in this paper. 9 points, and you prepare a report addressed to the chief business analyst. From is senior business analyst. Subject is disruptive technologies. Date, introduction would say that this report discusses the potential challenges of disruptive technologies along with potential application. That's it. Now, professional marks. Whoa. So, demonstrating skepticism, skills in probing and challenging the opinions of the board. So you see, challenge the opinion of the board. So there is a board minutes. It's given somewhere. The board minutes, there's a specific board minutes which talks about disruptive technology. Yeah. So here's the board minutes. And the first item is disruptive technologies. So the entire answer for question number 3A needs to come from where? From here. Oh, come on. So the entire answer will come from here to here. So the entire answer is hidden in this portion and few lines here. Okay. So if you read this, there are some stupid comments by one of the directors. He says that Mr. Thomas, he says he's the operations director. He says that he believes that the rent-a-room concept is a limited threat. His opinion was that it's just people sleeping on the floor of a friend's house. He's just making some customers want more than that. It's hardly we offer. He also expressed his belief that it would be a short-lived phenomena. So this guy is talking some stupid things. This guy is talking some stupid things. So if you want to talk about the challenges and scores, skepticism, try and challenge this guy. You say, Mr. We do not agree with Thomas' comments. We disagree. We don't think he's right. It should need further investigation. We beg to differ. Some of these negative comments. Okay. So as I had said, skepticism skills is, I personally feel, is more difficult because you need to focus on negative toning, negative drafting. Okay. Questions. Sir, so do we need to write the headings of subject and from in the press release? No. Just the direct subject and name. Okay. It's not a letter or an email or a report. Sir, so using question 3 as an example, if we skip 3A and do 3B, would we get some points for or 3A if we just write the format? No. If you just give the format, you might just get 1 mark out of 18. So first do 3B, okay, and I know that in the end you will be left with 10 or 15 minutes time. In that you do 3A, you will obviously start with the format, and it's your luck. Up till when you can handle this, you will get marks till the time is up. Najla is asking, so for integrated reporting, the answer is somehow theoretical. In the sense, yes, in the sense that the role is theoretical, but the advantages you will pick up from the exhibit. So there's a specific exhibit which talks about integrated reporting, its benefits. So you just pick up from there. So the role would be theoretical, but the benefits would be in accordance with the case study. Shushmita, you can't ask questions. I cannot hold students put on hold if you are late. You can watch the video recording later on. I hope you understand. Sir, if we don't know about disruptive technologies, how can we generate points? Jawad, I have no answer for this. Just think like a CFO. Just think logical. What the hell is disruptive technology? Just try to guess from the name. If you can guess from the name, half the job is done. Half the SBL is guessing from the name. Disruptive technology is any technology which disturbs the current business model. It's like Uber, like Netflix, like Airbnb. They have really screwed up the traditional business models, right? Just guess and write. If you're intelligent enough, no? To answer 3B before 3A, should you leave space? Good question. So Usman Vayu is asking to answer 3B before 3A, should we leave space? No, no, no. Just directly start with question 3B and then go to 3A. Don't leave space, otherwise, examiner will think that you have finished the paper. Okay, so don't leave any space. If the answer is incomplete, yes, then you leave space. But if you haven't started the question altogether, don't leave space. Move on. No worries. Thanks, Irfan, for pointing it out. We've just got 30 minutes left. So, all right, guys. Irfan, thank you so much for pointing out the time thing. We've got 30 minutes left. So I need to stop this. Just one more thing. If you look at question number 3B, the finance director has asked you to prepare 3 presentation slides. Not 1, not 2, not 4, exactly 3. 1 for each risk. So in one of the exhibits, they have identified 3 risks. So now he wants you to make 3 slides, 1 for each risk. And talk about what? Assess the potential outcome. So it's like 15 marks. So it's like 5 marks per slide. 5 marks per slide. So we don't really follow the number of lines, the number of points for slide. So it's 5 marks per slide because it's 15 marks in total. We need 3 slides. So you will make 3 slides and give the accompanying notes and linking with the exhibits. Okay, it's commercial acumen, so you don't really need to do anything extra. Just pick up points from the exhibits, talk about the risks and how you can mitigate those risks. You will automatically score commercial acumen because you're not talking like a finance guy. Right. So let's move. Okay, let me close all these extra pages so that I can focus on the last bit. Let's move on. So now the game starts. Okay, now the wrapping up starts. Just so financial ratios, this topic was covered in September, so you can check it out there. The budget and MIS, this was covered in September 2020. This question was done in September as well. Growth strategies, we don't have the time. It's very simple. We can, and it's like medium important. So I'm afraid we need to skip it. Now recap. Key exam techniques. We already spoke about key exam techniques. We discussed one technique each day. So I'm now putting together all the techniques. The first thing is linking with the exhibits. We first make a list of requirements, then we read couple of paragraphs, we stop and we do referencing. You can write the question number against the paragraph or the topic against, whatever kind of referencing you is easy for you, you do it, because when you start drafting your answer, you just need to look for those question numbers and compile up or consolidate your answer. Number of points, you are now gurus of number of points. So for a normal question, it's 1 point is 2 marks. For a weakness and those kind of stuff, we divide by 3. Maximum length of your answer is total marks multiplied by 3. Okay. Time management, first 60 minutes is reading. Skip 1-to-1 exhibits. Stop reading if time is up. Drafting time is 180 minutes. We put 1 mark is 1.8 minutes. And stop writing and move to the next question when the time is up. Do not hijack the time of the next question. Do you remember on day 3 I said it's better to have all the questions incomplete in the end rather than having complete questions but missing an entire question in the end. So try to attempt all the questions, and if the time is up, you just leave up half a page and so and move to the next question. Format of the answer, I've discussed that we need to link the answers, paragraph style, and all those things. Use of models is not mandatory. And should we follow the sequence? Yes, but in the last hour, we decide change the sequence if required. Now, guys. So I had shown this slide on my first class, and now also I will show you this slide. Now, what you will do? What you will do now? First thing, you realize that you don't have time. Okay, so don't panic. It's the fact that you don't have time now. So if you can't do change anything, then sit back and enjoy it. Yeah. The first thing is you will focus on 10 models and 15 topics. Oops, what's happening? You just focus on top 10 models and top 15 topics. I will provide you the list. Then you make sure that you watch September 2020 webinar. In case you have missed, you can see it on Vimeo or YouTube. After you watch December. After you watch December, you make sure that you watch September 2020, because 60% of the important topics are covered in September 2020. So it's mandatory that you watch both these webinars. It's available on my Google Drive, okay, which you can access if you are a member of my WhatsApp group, or you can watch on Vimeo or YouTube. After you have done this, watch the webinars, you need to practice 5 to 7 questions from P1 and P3. The reason is that we don't have sufficient questions in SBL. So rather than wasting time on kits, if you have time, then you practice P1 and P3 questions. Which questions? I will give you the list. Okay. After that, you will move to SBL questions. You need to do 3 to 5 SBL questions in writing with time management. And I will provide you a list of which questions to do so that you build up your basic speed, basic concepts, you get your hands into the motion, you start building stamina, start focusing on professional marks, formats. So you need to do at least three SBL questions in writing. Solving them virtually or solving them mentally, it will take you nowhere. Okay. And then in the end, very, very important, you must do 2 mocks under exam condition and you must have it checked. There's no point in doing a mock if a teacher is not checking it and is not giving you marks and feedback. So mocks under strict exam condition is mandatory. Half the people who fail SBL have not attempted mocks, any mock before the paper. Okay, this is examiner's most regular comment, that he can see that students have not attempted mocks. In last webinar, I had a student from Korea, and she said it was her 6th attempt, and then she attended the mock session, and I marked her mocks. There were some significant basic errors she was doing. I gave her feedback. She did another mock. She improved. And then in the 7th attempt, she scored 61. If you want, I can share her message to me, thanking me with tears. So this is the importance of mock. You must have it checked. I'm not saying have it checked with me, but have a mock checked with any qualified SBL teacher so that you know your gaps. So this slide is your game plan, your study plan for the next 3 weeks until the exam. Do I have any questions? Otto is saying that I watched September webinar but in the real exam, the questions were different, the topics were different. Obviously, yes, Otto. In the real exam, the scenario will be different, the questions will be different. So that's why I focus more on techniques and approach. It doesn't matter you give me a case study of a hotel, or you give me a case study of a dance bar, or you give me a case study of an institute. As long as I know the professional skills, the formats, how to plan my number of marks, points, and how to link, doesn't matter what kind of question or case. So focus more on formats, techniques, presentations. I will tell you how to participate in my mock in a bit. All right, so please now look at this slide. Oh, this is optional. I will talk about it. Please stay away from book and revision kit. Please, okay? Simply because you don't have the time. If you wanted to read the books, my friend, you should have started 3 months before, not 3 weeks before. And revision kits, the quality is very bad. The questions are far off from reality. The answers are more confusing. So if you want to do kits, then rather than doing kit, please do the P1 and P3 questions, which I will tell you. Rather focus on SBL actual case studies rather than kits. And for books, just use simplified notes. My simplified notes are available. So please, if I see anyone on my WhatsApp group asking any people to share book or revision kit, I will block that person. Okay, so no books, no kits, just actual past papers and P1 and P3 past papers. Now this is the list of important topics. The ones which are in red fonts, this one is red, red. All these topics were covered in September. All those in blue fonts, these topics were covered in December. So if you see the top most important topics of SBL, Alhamdulillah, we have been able to cover like 80-85% of the most important topics between September webinar and December webinar. Okay, please take a screenshot of this. Do not talk about Porter Diamond or Diamond Porter or Porter or Diamond. Forget about anything which is outside this list because you don't have time. Now this is the list of practice questions from P3 provided if you have time. If you have time, do four. You can do 4 questions from P3. You can select the weak areas or topic you want to focus. After that, these are selected questions from P1. Only 2 are most relevant to SBL. If you have time, you can do 2 questions from P1 just to build your foundation, build your confidence, and then you move to SBL. Specimen 1, I don't like. It's a little bit crazy question. That's why I have striked it out. Do specimen 2, do specimen 3, then do September 2018 cofolds, December 2018 highlight, and then this March 2020 is a crazy question. So first, it will both DC, the first and the last question will shatter your confidence because these are specimen papers, sample paper. So first you do this, you do this, you do this, you do this. Okay. Focus on these 4 and don't worry about these 2. After you've done these 4 questions, now you are ready to attempt a mock. For your mock, you can use March, June 2019 and you can do September, December 2019. These are actual SBL papers. I want you to do your mocks on actual SBL paper. So these papers do not cheat, do not look at them. First do these 4 questions and then be honest with yourself and then you attempt these 2 as mocks. Am I clear? Let me take questions if any. What about those, sir? Help us with those also, please. What do you mean by those? Sir, 3 topics left. Oh, I can't finish. You can just Google. What about value chain? They haven't really asked. I think they just asked once in a very simple manner. Sir, if they ask for 2 slides or more, should we make the supporting notes for each slide? Yes. Okay. So please identify from where a 2 mark point starts and end in any drafted answer. I don't know what you're asking. All right, now move on. Now, this is something bonus for you guys. So this guy, this good looking guy, his name is Bilal Marfani. He's from Pakistan. And in the previous attempt, which was September 2020, this guy scored 83 marks in SBL. Yes, it's not a typo mistake. You saw and heard correctly. This guy, he scored 83 marks in SBL. It was his first attempt. And he only watched the September 2020 P2P webinar. No teacher, no nothing. I think he didn't even took my mock, or he took my mock. I'm sorry, I can't remember, but nothing else. He watched September webinar and he scored 83 marks and he is the place winner. Would you like to know how he scored 83 marks? What he did? Would you like to know? Because he's a student, right? He's just amongst yourself. He watched the webinar. So I think that it's better if he explains what he did or how the hell he scored 83 marks in SBL. It's not a joke. Right. So I asked him what he did, and this is his actual message to me on my WhatsApp. So what did he do? So Bilal says, I strictly followed 3 things that has been shared by Sir Hassan Rosani in ACCA's webinar. Oh, forget about it. First of all, I answered all the questions in their relevant required structure, like report format, etc. So simply means that he focused a lot on formats. Secondly, I strictly followed the required tone for the answer, like in case of evaluation or commercial acumen, to secure maximum professional marks, or can I say to secure maximum cash marks. So that means he focused a lot on professional skills marks. First focus, second focus. Lastly, I used many small paragraphs with headings to cover maximum points and avoid using long paragraph. I love you, Bilal. That was his presentation. Okay, he used many small paragraphs to cover maximum points and also avoided using models. And this is not me, I swear I did not tell him to write all these things. I just asked him, give me top 3 things which you think you did right in order to score 83, and these are the top 3 things in the opinion of the place winner. I have another student who was England's place winner. He got 77. His name was Yogesh, and he also shared exactly similar kind of feedback. So none of them focus on technicals, basic stuff, and then they focus a lot on this. I really hope that this helps you guys. Okay, so if you want, you can have one last good look at this handsome gentleman, beauty with braids. So last thing, regarding my mocks, I do offer mock, but that's a paid session. Because and in that I think there will be videos of top 25 topics. There will be videos of 5 P1 P3 questions. There'll be videos of 3 SBL questions being solved, and then I would be checking and assessing 2 mocks. Okay, because it takes like 20 minutes for me to check 1 mock. Obviously, if it takes you 4 hours, it will take me at least 20 minutes to check in detail. So that's why, I need to have a limited number of students so that I can manage and give them feedback well within the time. So this is an optional thing. I would be posting details of how you can register for the mocks in my WhatsApp group maybe tomorrow. And my last words to you guys: please do not over study, instead do over practice. Okay guys, so with this I think we reached the end of our session, and I'm receiving some really nice comments about thanking me, and I really thank you guys. I really love teaching SBL, and because I'm a finance guy, I want you guys to, become not accountants, but true CFOs. I want you to become true business leaders, because that is your actual role after 10 years. Okay. So please do not underestimate yourself. You will be hearing a lot of rumors from various people that do this in SBL, do that in SBL. They will try to shatter your confidence. Do not underestimate yourself. You guys are not dumb. If you are appearing in SBL, if you have reached this stage of the ACCA exam, you must be intelligent. So please just focus on the basics. Think like a CFO. Focus on professional skills, formats, number of points, time management, and just score 50 and get rid of this paper. All right, guys. Those of you who have not yet added yourself to my group, just make sure that you are added on my WhatsApp group. With this, I would really wish you all the best and would like to thank each one of you. Do stay in touch with me on the WhatsApp group. If you have any questions, ask on the WhatsApp group, respecting the rules of the group. Obviously, ask the questions and I would be happy to help you on that. With that, I would just say thank you and good night.